Marquez, I think he'll be satisfied with that first lap.
Wow, the position that Marc's able to get the bike in through there, he's going to be able to attack into four. No, not this lap.
He closed up so much. He is so strong, isn't he, in that first flip-flop through 1, 2 and 3.
Yeah, he's almost carrying too much corner speed and then it has to back out of it. Let's see if he gets it right this time.
Yeah, work out that one. But Bezzecchi's having a brilliant start here. Exactly what he would have wanted as well. Hanging on to the lead, but he had to scrap for it. There's no doubt about it. Alex Marquez made life tough. And then Marc came through around on his brother. That's Fermin Aldeguer and Pedro Costa having a little battle for 8th place.
Yeah, how many times have we seen that at this racetrack? If you pass into 8, he's going to have a go into 9, so into 10.
And then look at Aldeguer cut to the inside. Tries to ride through the right thigh of Pedro Acosta, but Acosta does enough to hold him at bay.
Yeah, 2 into 1 definitely don't go through that corner, but you can see it's just the nature of this track. If you pass somebody on the inside, it's hard to get the bike stopped. It's down into turn 8, you can just square the rider back off.
This time, Marc Marquez closed on Bezzecchi through there.
You saw right though about him going defensive there. Did you see Bez then? He just went straight towards the apex, not to give a sniff to Marc Marquez. He'll know on his pit board they'll be giving him +0 Marc Marquez, so you know that he's going to have a go, have a lunge. There's only maybe 3 corners you can really pass at this track.
Down towards turn 1 on lap 3 of this sprint race. It's Bezzecchi from Marc Marquez. And look at Marc, he just turned smoothly through into turn 2 there and closed up. But Bezzecchi has looked really good in these early stages, and again just positioning the bike tight on entry every single time. It's not necessarily the fastest way around the circuit. There's no way through. No, it's fast around the corners where you can't pass it and he doesn't need to go defensive, but he's turning in let's say the braking zones, just turning in a little bit earlier. Clever riding. I mean, it's a really good way. Look, you can see there into turn 8, just turning a fraction early. Get the bike stopped, fire it out, you're going to make yourself hard to pass. Different strengths at the moment for that Aprilia. Sylvain talked about it on the grid. It's starting to transform itself into a bike which was, fast flowing tracks, yeah, we'll take it. Now they're trying to make it a bike which works everywhere. That's what you need if you want to challenge for a championship. And that Aprilia with Bezzecchi and Martin, former Ducati riders on board, is changing. Well, that's what Ducati have achieved. They've built a motorcycle that works everywhere. Look at the KTMs this weekend, really struggling pretty much nowhere. I mean, obviously your top KTMs there with Pedro Acosta down in 8th place. So last time out, they were obviously right up there. And Ducati had that problem for years, couldn't turn. Didn't work, and then they worked out through Dobby, through Bagnaia, a way to get the bike starting to turn, and it became a title contender, and that's where we are today. Aprilia going through that process in a different way. It was a bike that did turn, but maybe not as stable. Tell you what a lap for Marco Bezzecchi out front. You can see, obviously, he's stretched it. Fastest lap of the race, so 1 minute 30.9, 0.3 of a second faster than Marc. And he's almost built into it, a bit like Marc's been doing at the start of sprint races. I will remind you, that Marc Marquez is unbeaten in sprint races since we were at the British Grand Prix at Silverstone, when he took his worst sprint result of the season when he was second.
Yeah, this is, looks like he's got nothing for Bez at this point in the race. I mean, there's 10 laps to go, but Marco Bezzecchi just putting it together perfectly.
Yeah, I thought the pace was actually going to be 1:31.0, 31.1. Well, already Bezzecchi's dropped it, hasn't he, into the 1:30 bracket.
Yeah, that's fast, really fast.
The gap is 0.6 of a second through the second sector between Bezzecchi and Marc Marquez. Has Bezzecchi got the answer? We heard down on the grid, didn't we, that they felt this was their chance this weekend here in the sprint. We know in the long race, Marquez and medium tyres work really well.
Yeah.
We also know that he will be strong even in the late part of this race. It sounded like, from what Maya Mogali was saying to us on the grid, there might be people looking at the medium tyre even for this sprint race. So I just wonder if there is a drop as we go through this 13 laps.
Yeah, that would lead you to believe that, again, a 1 minute 30.9. I mean, Mark set his fastest lap, but the lead has got up to 0.5 of a second over the line. But it's this part of the track.
Oh, that's Quartararo sliding out at turn 2, clinging to stay on to the Ducati of Alex Marquez in front. Doesn't know what's happened, but unfortunately his chance has gone in the sprint.
Yeah, well, so Augusto Fernandez crashed there twice over the weekend on the all-new V4 Yamaha.
That was even further through though, into the corner.
Yeah, it was.
Wasn't it? A bit of a strange one.
Well, a rare mistake from a rider who hardly ever crashes. He lives on the limit, doesn't he? When you watch Fabio, he's never slow. So it's a big lap for Marc Marquez. I just felt like Bez was breaking him.
And he's come right back into it, hasn't he, in the first half of this racetrack. This is where you expect Bezzecchi maybe to have a little bit more. Marquez got excellent exit, didn't he?
He did.
From turn 10.
And is this what you were saying? Is this a little bit of tyre drop? A little bit, you lose a bit of side grip, the bike moves a bit more. We always know Mark loves it when the bike becomes looser. Look at that, he's actually gained time through his weaker spot.
And he's turning underneath him. Bezzecchi was really wide through Caro Corner.
But so Bezzecchi's last lap was a 1 minute 30.9. Let's have a look at this over the line.
It feels like it's...
Oh, he's missed the apex there by a good yard, which is a lot at this level.
Right, here we go across the line. A 1:30 point... Look, he's lost 6/10 on that lap.
6/10 of a second. And you can tell who smells blood in the water. You can almost feel Marc Marquez's heart now as it's pounded. The adrenaline's flowing. He will attack.
Into turn 4, is it going to be? No. Good exit from Bezzecchi. Managing to get the power down on angle from Bezzecchi, but something's not turning.
It's not turning. But that's tyre drop. Oh, this is going to be a cheeky one. Look at that.
And that was there again. Marco Bezzecchi was slow mid-corner, and he was a sitting duck almost. This is very, very strange what's happened here to Bezzecchi. He's going to try and attack down into La Quercia, but suddenly, like the tyre dropped all of a sudden, like pushing on those 2 laps. Something's happened.
It was exactly what it looked like, and it looks like more like coming from the front, where it just does. We know that Aprilia's a little bit nervous, but look at that again, wide, just not turning in. It's not quite biting.
Well, this is a strange lap and a half that we just witnessed here. Just missed the corner at turn 14, going through 11 into 12 for Marc Marquez. These corners decreasing their speed as we get down to one of the tightest corners on the circuit, turn 14. And this was where last lap. And again, Bezzecchi there, was that? Did he lose the front?
It looks nervous, doesn't it? It looks difficult.
Oh, he's down! Marc Marquez is not going to win the sprint for the first time in 9. And he crashes out. Well, he has crashed out of the sprint race. First time he's not going to score points. And suddenly, it's all changed. He was clearly pushing. They're having some front-end problems. And as you can see, the Italian fans enjoying that.
Unbelievable. I mean, 1 minute, I thought Marquez is going to be third here because Alex is going to pass him. Then he's leading and he's pulling away. And that's what the limit looks like. We've seen a lot of people crash there over the weekend. Mark's crashed there in the past. It's obviously the part of the track that he's really strong on, one of the faster left-hand corners, but... yeah, just pushing a bit too hard.
Only 2 sprint winners this year. 14 sprint victories for Marc Marquez. 1 for his brother. But there could be a different name holding aloft the trophy today, taking that gold medal, because Marco Bezzecchi leads them now after this crash at turn 15 for Marc Marquez. We've seen it from every single angle.
We haven't seen it from the moon, but I think every other angle.
But it's in the corners where he's strongest, where he's starting to push.
And that's, as we know, that's what he does. He just pushes a bit harder, but yeah, that's what the limit looks like.
But a rare mistake in the sprint format this year for Marc Marquez.
Well, his first mistake in the sprint format this year, so yeah. We're at round 15? 16, I should say, so yeah. Right, so here we go. We've got a race on our hands here, though, because Alex Marquez...
He's closed in on this lap.
He has.
Bezzecchi on that last lap dropped another 0.3 of a second. They are having issues. It feels like there's been a big drop here in performance. Back to a 1:31.4 for Bezzecchi, but Alex Marquez quicker than him. And he has built into this race as Alex Marquez. He's built into this weekend.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, he struggled in the first practice. In fact, it's not a track he's had a lot of success on in MotoGP. I think he's a best result of a 6th place finish around here. So, yeah, he's definitely built into this weekend.
What that graphic was basically telling us that if Alex Marquez wins this race, Marc doesn't automatically have a title shot when we get to Japan. That's just the simple maths of it. But as it stands, he would, because Alex would only be scoring 9. So Marco Bezzecchi leads him out towards Tramonto, this tricky 9 and 10 combination. A lot of the corners here at this circuit are open and then they tighten because this track was reversed from, back in the 90s.
Yeah, it now goes the wrong way, just so you know, Gav. That's what the old people say. It used to race the other way around, but it's right. Normally you design a track with corners that open out so you can accelerate and slide out of the corners. Because we go now the opposite way around, they changed it in 2007 for safety. Let's look at the crash again. I don't think we've seen this one before. Only 100 times. It's a typical crash at turn 15. You're sort of turning late there, but if you're really aggressive onto your knee, the front folds before you get your knee down, so you can't save it. And like I said, Marc's had that crash identical
a number of times before.
yeah, more than once.
Yeah, often it's early in the race, isn't it, when your tyre's a little bit cool.
How weird now. Marco Bezzecchi's just on a 31.1. Like that's like it's almost like he's overheated his tyres the first sort of push, then he lost sort of half a second to 0.6 for 3 laps, and now he's found that pace again.
A VR46 all-Italian battle for 3rd place now. Fabio Di Gianantonio sitting in 3rd. Frankie Morbidelli will want a podium here. Of course he'll want it in every single round, but he's become under a little bit of fire after a couple of moves recently. One where he took out Jorge Martin in the sprint back in Barcelona, and he's had a talking to from the steward saying any more transgressions and you will be getting a big penalty, a draconian penalty slapped down on you. Luca Morini's race on the soft tyre not panning out like we expected, but wait for Morini tomorrow with the medium. He has really good race pace on the Honda.
I'll tell you what, looking further back, I don't know what's going on, but Bagnaya's just dropped down to 14th. 14th.
Well, it's the sprint.
Well, yeah, but
it's the sprint. This year, they have the same tank, but they basically have half as much fuel, 12 litres of fuel in it. Not sloshing about, they put in stuff in the tank to prevent all that happening, but he just can't get comfortable with it.
Look, where is he?
There. Just ahead of Jack Miller.
I certainly recognise him with his blue helmet, but yeah.
And again, you can see him almost looking at the screens as he's riding around. There was a look at the screen there as if to say, yeah,
he's shaking his head.
I'm watching the race. I'm watching the race from here. How weird.
Yeah, it's just... It's like he's thinking whilst he's riding, rather than... I know it sounds a really stupid thing to say, rather than it being just instinctive.
He's going to come under pressure from his former teammate here in Jack Miller.
Like, he knows his track so well. The sensation you get when you're in a groove, it's instinctive. You're not thinking about it. It just happens naturally, and I feel like he's so anxious on the bike, Bagnaia, that's why he's shaking his head.
I think we'll allow in the pit garage is Marc Marquez.
Yeah, and I think we'll allow him that one. Like you said, it's the first mistake in 16 sprint races. He pushes hard, he pushes to the limit. Not crashed as much this year, has he?
No.
That was one of them. I'm going to say I did it, and I know you're going to go, no, you didn't. I've got to say I had a feeling before the race. Asked Steve Day, we talked about it. I just said, I've got a feeling Mark's going to crash in this one. No, I know. I did.
Absolute nonsense.
I did say it because I don't want to.
Pictures of it didn't happen. Did you record it? Have you written it down?
Actually, I WhatsApped it to Steve,
Right.
so I will show you.
We will test you on that later.
But Steve agreed. We were chatting about it. We both agreed.
Brad Binder's rolled out, and that's at turn 12, 13.
I also said I thought Brad Binder was going to run off the track on lap 12. Oh no, it's lap 11. No, I got it wrong. No, I didn't.
Mystic Hog alongside me.
Well, you feel like Bez has got this one. It's just stretched it to enough.
Yeah.
At sort of 0.8 of a second. 3 laps to go. It's a lot round here, 0.8.
Steve Day has just texted me. Barefaced lie, he said.
Well, Steve just texted you saying Neil doesn't have my number.
I've blocked him. Yeah, it's just, we thought it might happen.
I'll tell you what you don't want if you're Fabio Di Gianantonio sat in a beautiful 3rd place. You don't want plus point, what's he got, 0.3.
When it's closed on that last lap, that's why.
Exactly, and we know...
Morbidelli's just done a personal best as well.
Oh, I think he's really wide there.
Wide, so here we go. This is going to fire up this battle between VR46 teammates.
Yeah, I don't think Frankie would pull a harsh move on his teammate.
No, he's always shy and retiring on the green paint as well. The outskirts of turn 12.
The gentleman that is Morbidelli, definitely.
Well, he is in person.
He actually is.
And
Yes.
when you meet him in the paddock, and you get him on a racetrack.
Yeah, we said it in practice, didn't we? Like whenever we've done anything with him, with talk to him on the grid or track guides, he's really nice, humble, got loads of time for you. He puts his helmet on and he turns into an animal. Very aggressive.
2 laps to go. The gap at the front stands at a second between Marco Bezzecchi and Alex Marquez, and then this is the battle for 3rd. Stablemates perhaps in the VR46 squad. Frankie Morbidelli desperate to put one over his teammate, who, of course, I remind you, on the 49 is on the factory version of the bike, and Morbidelli on the 2024 edition of it. We ride on board with the Roman.
Oh, look at that, did she? That's quite funny to see. Like, just cut straight across the track to just block any pass or any opportunity of the rider behind getting to the, let's say, on your inside line down into 8. And because he knows it's his teammate who's brave, let's say. Look at him, he's defensive there as well. You can't blame him.
It's the sort of track that you do it on, though, isn't it?
You have to, yeah. Because it's difficult to pass, you've got to try and make yourself as wide as possible. Do you know who the king of that was? Valentino Rossi used to place his bike beautifully just to block off. And sometimes it'd be a subtle move. You wouldn't realise he'd done it that much, but he made himself so difficult to pass.
He's here this weekend, Valentino. And Lando Norris as well, one of his big fanboys. He's been here all weekend making his presence felt around. I've seen pictures of Lando Norris on every single motorcycle in the pit boxes this weekend.
He's a proper fan, isn't he?
He absolutely loves it.
So what he's done is taken advantage of his status.
Of course he is.
I saw him with 3 bags of swag, you know.
Gap for the front's down by 4/10 on that last lap. You feel like Bezzecchi's rolling off, but don't roll off too much, Bez, because you will have an Alex Marquez to contend with on this last lap of our sprint race here at the San Marino Rimini Riviera Grand Prix. Fastest rider on track on that last lap, Fabio Di Gianantonio, just at a 1:31.1, saving something perhaps.
This will be worth watching as well, with these 2 Mercians going at each other. We know that these 2 have got a proper rivalry. Here we go.
This has got spray paint job all over it, hasn't it?
Pedro goes to the left now to block off. Actually, no, he didn't do it as well. He didn't do it like Digi did.
He always turns into an apex early, though, does Pedro Acosta. Makes himself so wide. And just on board with Aldeguer, you can see there's no way through. At the front, the gap's back up to 0.9 of a second. Marco Bezzecchi is going to take his first sprint race victory of the season, it seems. From pole position for Italy. He's a Rimini local. He was born. Is he going to take sprint success for Aprilia? Of course, a big home race. If they can put one over on Ducati, that's a real feather in the cap from everyone at the Noale factory up in the Venice region. 2 more corners to negotiate for Marco Bezzecchi. Into the final corner now. Pole position, perfection from Bezzecchi for Aprilia here in Misano. Success for the Rimini man. Alex Marquez is second. Fabian Gianantonio takes third place. Lorenzo Salvadori hugs Massimo Rivola. Puerto Rican singer Luis Fonsi waving the flag here, but it's Marco Bezzecchi who takes sprint success for the first time with Aprilia. He's already won, of course, a main race back at Silverstone in the British Grand Prix, but now he does it at home in front of friends and family.
Yeah, maximum pressure. It was an interesting one, wasn't it? We thought he was going to check out, then Mark caught him, passed him, crashed, and then the pressure was on and he rolled perfect. Nice and defensive in all the right places, no mistakes.
Well, this will be a special moment for the whole Aprilia crew. Valentino Rossi down there to celebrate with him. We'll have all the reaction to Marco Bezzecchi becoming just the third rider to win a sprint this year when we come back from the break.
Carroll Nash Insurance.